basically we went into the studio, recorded it very quickly, I think in 2 sessions, and then it was mixed and released very, very quickly, which was fine, and it did really well for us. But we always thought if we had a bit of time that sonically we could improve on it. Then after talking amongst ourselves, we decided that we'd go back in and actually revisit the tracks and remix them and remaster them, so people actually had something better really than the original.
During the course of the last few years, really, we've had several occasions where people keep asking about the Dogs of War album on CD and on vinyl as well. It's been out of print for a long time, several years in fact, and several people had said that they'd look round for second-hand copies, and on places like Discogs the CD was going for £40 upwards, which is pretty crazy. So hopefully this will satisfy that need.
It sort of became apparent that it was the songs on Dogs of War were very, very well thought of, and a lot of people wanted something for some time that they'd said to us. So the fact that it's all come about and the way it has to do Dogs of War seems fitting to revisit it again, and hopefully people can have another re-evaluation of it. Now it's 10 years on from the original release, and see what they think and see where it goes from there.
Both Richard and myself have been involved with the recording side of things, and we're very interested in the technical side of things and how music sounds. We just thought that we could do those songs much better justice than they actually had. Because we'd written those songs, we wanted them to hear them sound a certain way, which we are now happy with. And if people haven't got the album, I think they'll be very pleased. But I think even if people have got the original Dogs of War and compare the two, it is a different level.
I think the first thing to say is that whilst the album was recorded very quickly, it was great because we effectively got it for free, because Glenn had a new system that he wanted to try out with a loud rock band, and we were that band, so obviously that was brilliant from our point of view. But over time, as is often the way, you keep listening to stuff, and certainly from my point of view there was stuff I wasn't that happy about how stuff sounded, and Ian had similar sort of views on it, and we just felt when we started cracking the sessions open and having a listen, we just felt that we could give it more of a classic sound that I think certainly that Ian had envisaged it should have had, and I think the end result is I don't want to say better, because lots of people will love the original album. For me, it's just ballsier, and as we were going through the sessions there were so many bits that we were almost hearing for the first time. Going through the process was really interesting, because a lot of the songs just for me have taken on a new lease of life, just because there's stuff in there now that you can actually hear that you wouldn't have been able to hear on the original mix.
So when we went to revisit all the original sessions, I'd forgotten that we'd wrote another song called Death Is. After listening to it, it just reminded me what a great song it was. And also it was in total keeping with the rest of the album, because it was actually written for that album. So we put that on, took the previous 2 bonus tracks off and replaced it, and then the other one was Magician. So Magician's sort of like, I've got a soft spot for that, because that's the first song I ever wrote for the band, or the first song I ever wrote, period. You know, if I do say so myself, I think it's a fantastic song, and I wanted to hear it, you know, full on, in your face mix, which we've achieved with that, so I'm really pleased with that.
The original album had a couple of tracks. There was an instrumental called Crash Course and a kind kind of acoustic-y thing called Hanging Tree on, which are, were good tracks, but really didn't probably fit in that well with the album. And in hindsight, really, it was probably too long. We did have a couple of reviews that said, yeah, it's great, but it just goes on a bit too long, is one point to make. And as we were going through all the sessions for it, we came across one that we'd both sort of forgotten about. It was a song that was originally written for the album, but we never finished it. It's a song called Death Is. Coming back to it these 10 odd years later, it was like, this is a kick-ass song. It just needs a bit of tweaking, arrangement-wise, which we did. Came together really quickly, and it really complements the original album. So that one was a definite in. Also, Ian had been working on a new version of Magician. That one just had to go on as well, really, because it just sounds so good. Ironically, we've still ended up with a very long album, but it's all killer, no filler, start to finish.
The two new tracks that have been included on Dogs of War that we've worked on in the recent past for this the revisit, quite diverse, the pair of them. Death Is a natural, that particular track is a real natural fit to a lot of the more fast-paced material on Dogs of War. Having heard early versions of Magician, found that one to be a very interesting one to work on. Stylistically, it checks a lot of bands that I really enjoy, like Purple Rush, that sort of style of stuff, and it's a lovely, distinctive sound to it, and very different to anything else on the album, and one that's again very proud to have worked on, and hopefully that shows the diversity that Soldier as a band always will put across.
So when Richard and I were discussing about the two new songs, I suggested to Richard that it might be give it a different feel to have somebody do the lead guitar work, and really we thought if we can get somebody in that's like a next level lead guitar player, it would enhance the songs and give it, take it to an even better level. And Richard played for years with a local guitarist called Andy Pointer He's a very good guitarist, but the other thing is I didn't want a mental, technical guitarist that can fly around the neck but didn't suit the style of music that Soldier did. He still needed to have his roots in sort of classic rock. So although Andy's a very technical player, he's still what I'd call a classic rock guitarist. And I think anybody that hears what he's done on those two albums would be, those two tracks would be very impressed. And I'm certainly very happy with it.
When we were starting to record Death Is and Magician, I know that Ian wanted someone else to come in and play lead. I knew somebody, Andy Pointer, who I've played with for many years. Andy's an awesome player. He's got, feel and melody to his playing. Big Gary Moore fan, so he really digs in, but it's just always nice in that he's not like a mindless shredder, and what he's done, I think especially on Magician, is just great. And when you hear it, I think you'll all agree that he's done a great job. And thank you, Andy.